theorem which says that we can have one operator, two operators, E or E. No more. For the equations of the first order. And we have three operators.
Yes, you cannot find them.
So I have still 20 minutes. Okay. Is it up or down now? Now, how we can use two-dimensional algebras? We can use Lee's integration method, which based again on the canonical variables. So we introduced in canonical variables t and u, which depends on x and y, and we have certain operators, for example, let me change here indices. It should be C eta, or you can say I here and here I, because I have two operators. So if we transform this operator, we obtain, according to the rule, this form. Can you see? And canonical variables provide for every Lie algebra the simplest form of its basis. So for each form, for each type, we have two canonical generators. And these canonical generators helps us to obtain the canonical variables and then change the equation to integrable form and find the solution. So let's see what we have. Any two-dimensional algebra can be transformed by a proper choice of its basis and suitable variables Cu to one of the four non-similar standard forms presented in Table 1. This is Table 1. Let's look at this. So if we calculate the commutator, for example, in type 1, the commutator should be equal to 0, and the condition for the functions xc and eta, you can see here, it's not equal to 0. In type 2, it's 0. Here we obtain x1 and two different conditions. Look at the form, a standard form of Lie algebra. So x1 should be the operator differentiation with respect to t, and x2 only differentiation with respect to u. Can you write the equations for the canonical variables if you have this? Can you guess what you will obtain? So looking at this table, we can say immediately that equations which we will obtain will be following. We have x1, here differentiation with respect to t, and x2 differentiation with respect to u. So when we change the operator, we can say that x1 in all variables should be applied to t. We have coefficient 1 here, so the equation will be this. Nothing with u here, so it will be x1 of u is equal to 0. In x2 we see no t here, so it will be x2 of t is equal to 0. x2 of u will be 1. We can write similar equations for other types. For example, you can choose this type, or the third type, or the fourth type, and all equations will be presented further. But one remark here, if we have type 1 and type 2, and we obtain, for example, that the result is not x1, we can adjust these operators to have exactly x1 for our commutator. So this is easier than to work. So Lee's integration method was used for integrating of the equation of the second order. So this is standard form. This equation should admit two-dimensional algebra, which has basis x1, x2. And we need to do the following 3 steps. First step, we use the table 1, which I showed, and we define what type we have. So if we need to, for example, change the basis to obtain x1, we do that. Then second step is we need to find canonical variables. So we solve the equations. For type 1, you can see here, type 2, type 3, type 4. For type 4, I showed that we have these generators, and if we look at generator x1, we can say that x1 of t is equal to 0. Here, note c as well, x2 of t is equal to 0. For u, we have 1 here and u here. And this is how the operator changes. This is for the change of the operator. Then we have to rewrite the differential equations in our canonical variables, t and u we choose as a function of t. When we do that, we obtain canonical form of each equation. I mean, we will have these forms of equations. So for type 1, you can see here second derivative of u is function of first derivative. You can understand that it's integrable because we can separate variables here. In type 2, we also can separate variables here as well and here. So we can integrate these equations. And third step, we need to rewrite the solution in the original variables and obtain the solution of the given equation. What is important always? When we finish solving your equations, you have to check that your solution satisfies the equation, right? Because nowadays we don't do that. I notice, for example, when I work with students, they are not used to check, and this is important. Okay, I think I will stop here. Next time, I will show 2 examples how we apply this method. Maybe I will revise again quickly all 3 steps at the beginning of the lecture 3, and then I will show how to apply this idea to 2 examples. One example, which I showed today in first lectures about Riccati equation, will appear in the lecture of Professor Ibragimov, because he will talk about the frame of differential equations there. Then the example which I show in lecture 3 also appears in his lecture, and that's why he asked me to show how to solve it. And then one more example there. Then at the end I will give an exercise for you, so you can solve your own example. So this is the plan for next lecture.